Minasan, konnichiwa. Manoj desu.
Aparna desu.
Mata Nihon ye yokoso. Not Japanese speakers. It's your golden opportunity to be amazed by my Japanese skills. It wouldn't last long. I don't have it in me to last more than a minute. So don't blink, otherwise you will miss it. Japanese speakers, you know the truth. Mata desu. Ammari josu janai desu. Kore wa watashi tachi no Nihon ye 2 kai me no ryoko desu. 2年前に最初に日本に来ました。あの時は関西に行きました。例えば京都、大阪、奈良、姫路城に行きました。あとは広島と新宮と金沢も見ました。富士山も見ました。この時は日本の日帰りところに旅行したいです。長野に初めてニコに行って平泉に行くつもりです。最初は関東、鎌倉と箱根に行って東京に終わりたいです。それでよろしくお願いします。Now, back to English.
Good morning, guys. So we are back in our favorite country. We flew into Tokyo yesterday and then took a train to Nagano. This is day 1 from Japan. We are in Sensoji. Next we'll be seeing a castle. After that we'll go to Nikko.
Buddhism came to Japan in the mid-6th century when the Korean kingdom of Baekje sent a Buddha image. Soon a skirmish known as the Taibi no Ran broke out between the Mononobes, who supported the traditional Shinto religion, and the Sogas, who were for the new religion. The Buddha image was lost in the mayhem. Legend has it that this image was later recovered and is safely ensconced in this temple. There isn't much proof for this claim. No one has actually seen this image in centuries. One just has to believe it exists somewhere in the precincts of Sensoji.
That was the announcement that greeted us at the Matsumoto station. 80 minutes on a local train brought us to Matsumoto from Nagano. The castle was built in the 16th century during the heights of Sengoku Jidai. That's the period when Japan was divided into hundreds of mutually warring kingdoms. Matsumoto is one of the oldest castles in Japan, one of the 12 that still has its original keep and is considered one of the top 3 to visit, along with Himeji and Kumanomoto. Himeji Castle, which we visited on our previous trip, is nicknamed White Heron Castle. Matsumoto is nicknamed Crow Castle for its greyish-black exterior. After 4 hours on a combination of local trains and Shinkansen, we reached Nikko, our stop for the night.
これは私たちの長野のホテルの部屋です。小さいです。これはホテルから景色です。きれい。これはトイレです。きれいです。
Good morning. So it's day 2 from Japan. We are in Nikko today, and today will be all sights of Nikko. And the evening we'll catch the train to Hiraizumi.
The Sengoku Jidai, the Warring State period, came to an end when 3 warlords progressively united the country. The process was started by Oda Nobunaga, continued by Toyotomi Hideyoshi, and completed by Tokugawa Ieyasu. Ieyasu was able to establish a stable shogunate that ruled Japan for 2.5 centuries. The mausoleum of the first and the third Tokugawa shoguns are located in Nikko. These mausoleums were built in the 17th century. A millennia before that, around 766 AD, the monk Shodo Shonin established a Buddhist monastery Rinnoji and a Shinto shrine Futarasan Jinja, and the town of Nikko developed around these temples. Nikko and Futarasan are alternate readings of the same kanji. Yep, kanjis can have multiple readings. Welcome to Japanese.
The top monument in Nikko is the Toshogu, Mausoleum of Tokugawa Ieyasu. It was built by his son and completed by his grandson. Its main gate, Yomemon, is the grandest in all of Japan. The hill behind the main temple houses the actual mausoleum. The second most important monument in Nikko is the Taiyu-in, the mausoleum of Tokugawa Iemitsu, the grandson of Ieyasu. This temple has some of the most impressive gates in Japan. The temples of Nikko together form a single UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Apart from the temples, Nikko also has the stunning Akechi Daira Observatory from where you can see the Chusenji Lake and the Kegon Falls. Autumn here arrives early. Couple of weeks ago, the scenery would have been even more breathtaking. After a hectic day in Nikko, we just about managed to get on the 3 p.m. train to Hiraizumi, where we spent the night. これは私たちの日本のホテルの部屋です。小さいです。でも綺麗です。これは部屋からの景色です。すごい。小さいなトイレです。綺麗です。
Good morning, guys. So it's day 3 from Japan. We are in Hiraizumi. Today will be all sites of Hiraizumi, and then for the night we'll head to Kamakura.
Up until the end of the 8th century, northern Tohoku was populated by the Emishi tribe. In 801 AD, one Sakana Ue no Tamarumaro led the imperial army and subdued the tribe. Sakana Ue was given the title of shogun for this achievement, one of the first to have held the title. By the 12th century, the place was under the control of the northern branch of the powerful Fujiwaras. They made Hiraizumi their capital and reduced rival Kyoto in grandeur. In 1189, the shogun was Minamoto no Yoritomo, based in Kamakura, and he invaded Hiraizumi and left it in ruins, and Hiraizumi never really recovered its past glory. One of the few structures to survive this destruction is the fantastic Konjiki-do of Chusonji Temple. This gilded 12th century masterpiece is now kept inside this fireproof building.
Mutsuji shows the extent of destruction suffered by Hiraizumi in its history. The original temple was established in 850 AD by Enin. It was destroyed by the Kamakura invasion and later by natural causes. All the buildings you see today date from the 18th century and bear no resemblance to the original. The highlight is the wonderful gardens that surround the buildings. A short taxi ride away is the Takkoku no Iwaya temple, dedicated to Bishimonten. It was established in the early 9th century by Tamarumoro himself. The temple survived the Minamoto invasion, and its setting next to a cliff is quite dramatic. Autumn was in full swing in Tohoku when we visited. Momojis or Japanese maple were in their brightest attire. The Hiraizumi day was the best autumn color day of our trip. In the afternoon, we took a series of trains to our next destination, Kamakura.
これは平泉の部屋です。旅館です。日本の伝統的な部屋です。ベッドがありません。きれいなトイレもあります。
Good morning, guys. So it's day 4 from Japan. We are in Kamakura today, and we'll be seeing all the sights of Kamakura.
For most of its history, the Japanese emperors were puppets controlled by a powerful family, a regent, or a shogun. The first of these were the Sogas, who brought Buddhism to Japan. The next were the Fujiwaras, followed by the retired emperors and the Tairas. Minamoto's defeated the Tairas in the late 12th century and established a new shogunate in Kamakura. They were the first to establish a power center outside of Kyoto. The founder was Minamoto no Yoritomo, the shogun who destroyed Hiraizumi. The shogunate lasted from 1192 to 1333. These temples of Kamakura that you are seeing date from this period and together form the 5 great Zen temples of Kamakura.
The most visited temple in Kamakura is the Kotoku Inn, famous for its giant bronze statue of Amida Buddha. The statue is about 44 feet tall and weighs 93 tons. It is hollow on the inside and one can visit its interior. The statue was completed in 1252 and replaced an earlier wooden statue. Originally, the statue was indoors, housed in a large building that no longer exists. The next most important site is the Hachimangu Shrine. It is a Shinto shrine dedicated to Hachiman, the divine spirit of the legendary emperor Ojin, who is believed to have ruled Japan around 300 AD. The shrine was originally built in 1063 and Minamoto no Yoritomo moved the temple here in 1191 to invite Hachiman to protect his new shogunate. The third important site is this Hasedara temple. It houses one of the largest wooden statues in Japan, a 11-headed standing sculpture of Kannon. The temple and the statue date from the mid-8th century. The temple also houses an array of Jizo statues. These adorable statues are placed here by mourning parents who have lost their offspring.
これは鎌倉の部屋です。これも小さいです。これはトイレです。きれい。
We could find vegan, vegetarian food almost everywhere we went. The only exception was Hiraizumi, where we managed on store-bought plain onigiri, yogurt, chips and pickles from India. Our staple diet was vegan ramen everywhere else. Among the memorable food were oyaki that we had in Nagano. These were baked buns with various fillings like pumpkin, mushrooms, spring onions, etc. Vegan Japanese curry that we had in Azuma restaurant in Nikko. It had all the spices we liked. It was served with fried yubas, which was close to our samosas. The dry ramen or abura soba that we had in Ofuna, it was the spiciest food that we had on our trip. Traditional kenchin jiru that we had in a restaurant right outside Kenchoji in Kamakura. These sweet potato dumplings near Sensoji. The vegan gyozas that we had near Ueno Park, they were delicious. Every vegan's favorite, Tea's Tantan, we like their vegan curry combo the best. Japan is heaven for snacks. Our favorites were matcha cakes and matcha tea, which we had almost every day. This fantastic matcha ice cream in Kamakura, whatever this was that we had in Nikko, and my all-time favorite, cinnamon roll. This was in Roppongi. A special mention for the apple juice that we had in Nagano. That region is famous for its apples and autumn is the harvest time. This was freshly squeezed. So, hello guys, so it's day 5 from Japan and we are in Hakone today. We are seeing the beautiful garden in Hakone.
Hakone is a popular day trip destination from Tokyo. One of the top things to do in Hakone is to queue up for an hour and take this footage in front of the famous floating torii. The wait is much longer in the evening when the sun isn't spoiling your pictures. If this Instagram picture of us doesn't go viral, I am blaming the 30,000 others who took and posted the exact same picture on the same day as us. This famous story is part of the less famous Hakone shrine. The shrine was founded in 757 AD and relocated here in 1667. The second popular thing to do is to ride the pirate ship across the Lake Ashi. It is a crater lake that lies in the caldera of Mount Hakone, a volcano that last erupted in 1170 AD. For the lucky few who happen to cruise when the skies are clear, the lake offers stunning views of Mount Fuji. All others have to contend with viewing the Instagram story from the water side. The next popular thing to do is to take the cable car to Uwakudani Plateau to check out the thermal springs. But the wind was too gusty today and the cable car wasn't operating. So we substituted it with a visit to the Hakone Museum of Art. We never really went into the museum as the adjacent gardens were at its autumnal best. The foliage here was stunning. It was as good, if not better, than what we saw in Hiraizumi. Final must-do is the Hakone Open Air Museum. Opened in 1969, it was first of its kind in Japan. It houses several art pieces by Pablo Picasso, Juan Miro, Henry Moore, along with many local Japanese artists. The sculptures are all well displayed in a large garden, and autumn is a great time to view them.
On the way back to Tokyo, we stopped by two popular nightscape viewpoints. First was the Minato Mirai, the central business district of Yokohama. Yokohama is the second largest city in Japan and a major economic, cultural, and commercial hub. The second stop was Odaiba, a man-made island in the Tokyo Bay. It offers a splendid view of the Rainbow Bridge. The bridge was built by Kawasaki Industries between 1987 and 1993. Odaiba also houses a Statue of Liberty, a 13-meter tall replica of the statue in Paris. It has been here since 1998.
これは東京の部屋です。上野駅の近くにあります。小さいです。小さいなトイレです。
Good morning, guys. So it's day 6 from Japan. We are in Tokyo today and I'm standing next to the Sensoji temple.
Legend has it that in 628 AD, two fishermen fished out a cannon statue from the Sumida River. Sensoji was built a few years later in 645 AD to house this image. This makes Sensoji the oldest established temple in Tokyo. Most of that was pulverized in the Allied bombing during the Second World War. Hence, everything you see today is from the 1960s reconstruction, a faithful copy of the previous Tokugawa design. There is a Shinto shrine, Asakusa Jinja, in the same complex. That temple is dedicated to the two fishermen who started it all. The Tokugawa shoguns cut off Japan from the outside world and ruled it with an iron fist for about 250 years. In the 1850s, Matthew Perry, not this guy, showed up with his black ships and forced Japan to open its waters and markets. Emperor Meiji used this humiliation as a reason to kick out the Tokugawas and restore the power to the emperor. This seminal event in Japanese history is known as the Meiji Restoration. Meiji engineered a stunning turnaround, and within half a century, Japan defeated Russia. It sent shockwaves across the world. For the first time, an Asian power defeated a Western power. Meiji became such a big hero that he was deified after his death, and this temple is where his spirit is worshipped.
Our first garden in Tokyo was the Shinjuku National Garden. It was created in 1772 by the Naito family. The land was bequeathed to the family by Tokugawa Ieyasu a century earlier. After a quick lunch, we went up our first high rise in Tokyo, Mori Tower in Roppongi. The building was completed in 2003. With a height of 238 meters, it is the sixth tallest building in Tokyo. It offered an excellent view of the Tokyo Tower. We spent the afternoon at the Ueno Park. Established in 1873, it was one of the first public parks in the country. The main temple is a Toshogu, which is a Shinto shrine dedicated to Tokugawa Ieyasu. Built in the 17th century, Ueno Toshogu has managed to survive the several wars that have ravaged Tokyo ever since.
In the evening, we went up the two tallest towers in Tokyo. The first was the Tokyo Tower. It was built in 1958 and has a height of 333 meters. It used to be the tallest tower till the Sky Tree was built in 2011. The tower is a deliberate copy of the Eiffel Tower in Paris. It offered an excellent view of the surrounding skyscrapers. The second tower was the Sky Tree, which was built in 2011. At a height of 634 meters, it is the third tallest structure on the planet after Burj Khalifa and Merdaka 118. That is as of November 2025. The view from the top was phenomenal and very different from Tokyo Tower. We recommend going up both, especially in the evenings.
Good morning everyone. So it's day 7 from Japan. Today will be more sights of Tokyo and I am standing next to Yasukuni Shrine.
Our second day started at the controversial Yasukuni Jinja. It was created by Emperor Meiji to commemorate those who died in the Boshin War, the civil war that kicked out the Tokugawas and installed him as the ruler. Over time, the shrine's purpose was extended to cover the subsequent wars as well. What is so controversial about it? Well, one of those subsequent wars was the Second World War, and the commemorated veterans include those convicted of serious crimes in China and Korea. A short taxi ride away is a much less controversial 20th century architectural masterpiece, the Tokyo International Forum building. It was designed by the architect Raphael Vignoli and completed in 1996. We were the only two clicking pictures while the rest were hurrying to get to work, wondering why would anyone bother to photograph their daily commute.
We ended the day by visiting 3 gardens. First was the East Gardens of the Imperial Palace. The palace used to be the home of the Tokugawa shoguns. After Meiji restoration, this became the royal residence. The current emperor still resides here. The East Gardens are open to public. We also got some fantastic reflection shots of the palace on the surrounding moats. The second gardens we visited is the Koishikawa Koraku Inn, and it had the best autumn foliage among all the gardens we visited in Tokyo. This garden dates from the Edo period. It was constructed in 1629 by Tokugawa Yorifusa, the 11th son of Tokugawa Ieyasu. The third gardens was the one attached to the Nezu Museum. The museum housed some excellent Japanese paintings based on the tales of Ise, which we weren't allowed to photograph. Adjacent gardens were open for photography and it had some nice autumn colors.
Only our day ended with the gardens. Our night started off at Akihabara, where we made a quick stop to photograph the most famous corner in Japan, the Denki-gai or the electric town, before heading to Shibuya. Shibuya is home to the famous Shibuya Kosaten, built to be the busiest crossing on the planet. About 3,000 people traverse the crossing in one signal cycle during peak hours. Overlooking the crossing is the Shibuya Sky, where peak hour slots sell within 3 minutes of opening. Yes, there are places in the world where people pay to watch traffic. There was an Akita dog named Hachiko. It used to meet its owner every day at the Shibuya station. One day, its owner died at work and never returned. For the next 10 years, Hachiko would return to Shibuya station almost every day to await the owner's return. This Hachiko statue is right by the station entrance where the dog would wait.
Good morning everyone. So it's the last day from Japan. We are in Mezu Jinja and we'll be seeing last few sites in Tokyo.
We started early today and temples are the only ones open before 9 am. So we spent the morning visiting 3 of the lesser known temples in Tokyo. First was this Nezu Jinja. The Jinja was established in the 1st century AD and was moved to the present location in 1705. The Jinja is very famous for its Azalea festival in spring. The second temple was the Hiei Jinja. The original was built in the 14th century and it changed location a few times before Tokugawa Ieyasu rebuilt it at the present location in 1659. The temple suffered extensive damage during the Second World War and what you see today dates from 1958. The last one was Zojoji, a Buddhist temple. It was established in the 9th century and moved here in 1590. It was patronized by the Tokugawa shoguns and 6 of them are buried in its premises. Right behind the temple stands the Tokyo Tower. The temple's main gate dates from 1622 and is the oldest wooden building in Tokyo.
After the temples, we stopped by the Sumeda Kokusai Museum, which houses the paintings of Katsushika Hokusai. His most famous work is this wave of Kanagawa. We weren't allowed to photograph the original. In the evening, we checked out the remaining two nightscapes of Tokyo. First was Ikebukuro's Sunshine City, which gave us our final view of the Tokyo skyline from a high rise. This one from 240 meters above ground level. The second stop was at the glitzy Shinjuku. After swinging by the Kabukicho to photograph its famed red gates and the other lesser known but equally colorful neon street signs, we ended our night gaping at the 3D cat of Shinjuku. Our final memories of Tokyo and Japan for that matter would be this adorable cat knocking things off the shelf.
私たちの日本の旅行は終わりました。ここまで見てくれて本当にありがとうございます。日本は私たちの一番好きな国です。日本の恋しくなりますね。残念です。今、アパーナはこの旅行の私たちの一番好きな場所を紹介します。
At number 10, Toshogu at Nikko. At number 9, Tokyo Tower. At number 8, Sensoji. At number 7, the views from the high rises of Tokyo. At number 6, the gardens of Hakone Museum of Art. At number 5, Chusonji Temple Complex. At number 4, Nightscapes of Tokyo. At number 3, Big Buddha of Kamakura. At number 2, Matsumoto Castle. And finally at number 1, the Gardens of Tokyo.
Okay, Aparna, what's your best memory of the trip?
The three best memories, I would say, are the autumn colors across the cities that we went, and then the night views from all the towers, the Sky Tower, the Tokyo Tower, and lastly the vegan food that we were able to try. They were all delicious.
Okay, that's it, folks. Until we say hi from some other part of the world. Ja, mata ne.
Bye bye.